Hi, welcome to This Week in Kettering. I'm Carrie Basson with the Kettering Schools. Today is Thursday, March 17th. Happy St. Patrick's Day to all of our viewers. My guest today is Bettina Irwin, and Bettina is the school nurse here at Fairmont High School and also the district coordinator for our nurses across the Kettering School. So welcome, Bettina. Glad to have you here.
Thank you, Carrie. I'm glad to be here today.
And today we're going to be talking about a really important topic, something that the parents of our youngest students is really front of mind for them because we've got kindergarten registration this week.
Absolutely.
And then also it's an important topic for all of our parents because it's something that affects students at every age and every grade level, and that is immunizations. And I know that you join our school nurses across the district and medical professionals out there in really supporting immunizations for children and the importance of getting children immunized. So let's talk a little bit about why that is important and why that is something that the medical profession as a whole really stands behind.
Well, immunizations do help improve our health, and all the information I'll be sharing today does come from cdc.gov. There are several reasons why we encourage people to immunize. One of the big reasons is we have been able to eliminate diseases. Many diseases are now more rare because of immunizations. The CDC kind of likens it to bailing out a boat. You have a slow leak in a boat. These are the diseases. As you sit there, the diseases become more prevalent. You start bailing hard and fast. You are able to clear out the boat and really essentially stop the leak. But we don't want to stop immunizing because we haven't eliminated that leak yet. We look at immunizations like polio. We immunized until we've essentially eliminated polio in the United States. We do still see some diseases, diphtheria, whooping cough, polio, measles. We have seen some breakthrough cases out there, and continuing to immunize provides further herd immunity. We look at in Japan, they actually stopped, reduced their immunization for pertussis, and they did have a huge epidemic. We would like to prevent that here. We know that when we stop vaccinating, we do see more cases, and it does lead to more diseases, more problems for students, parents, grandparents, anybody who is immunized in the community. And we don't want those diseases to make a comeback. Another reason why we like to keep immunizing is because we don't just immunize for our children, but we do immunize for our grandchildren. As I gave the example of polio before, the disease, I'm sorry, not polio, smallpox. The disease is essentially eliminated because we did continue to immunize, and perhaps for future generations we will no longer need to immunize for things like meningitis or pertussis because we will be able to eliminate that.
And you talked about like pertussis or whooping cough that obviously and thankfully cases of that are rare.
They are rare.
But they are out there still, and that is something that we want to continue to kind of fight against, as you said, to keep bailing out those diseases until they're all gone, and we're going to continue to use the immunizations to try to help us fight those.
Right.
And obviously in a school setting, it becomes very important because all those little kiddos are in close proximity.
Absolutely.
And that's why we really really push the immunizations and why you have to have those on record and things like that. Some parents might question why we have to have that information. Well, we've got a bunch of kids in close proximity, and there's lots of just exchanges of a lot of different stuff going on, and so that really does help our 7,500 kids to stay healthy as possible when they're immunized and when we take care of those immunizations.
That's correct, and every year we get an updated list from the Ohio Department of Health, and that's why they do it, because we do have a lot of people in a small space, and it's easy to cross-contaminate, and so.
Sure.
Yeah.
And want to avoid that.
Want to prevent the spread.
Keep kids healthy, keep them in school for sure. Let's talk a little bit about those youngest students that we have now registering, our kindergartners. For parents, maybe this is the first time they're coming into the schools to register their children. What are some things that they should know in terms of what are the immunizations that are required for those youngest kids? We'll start with that and then maybe move, because I know there are some requirements at different age groups as well.
Well, let me go down my list here.
Okay.
Okay. Certainly certainly preparing to come for registration, it's important to bring a list of immunizations, and it's important to bring your child's birth certificate. First of all, children do need to be immunized against diphtheria, pertussis, tetanus, polio, measles, mumps, rubella, hepatitis B, and varicella.
Okay.
In the elementary grades.
Sure, and that would be, it's kind of different, as you said, how Department of Health provides kind of guidelines for this. So
Absolutely.
this is a lot of information. We don't expect people to take this all in and know exactly what they're supposed to do. All this information is on our website.
It is on our
under
website.
immunizations. So as we're going through this, know that you can get that information off of our website as well. But for those little guys, those are really important because there are some illnesses and diseases that really are probably more dangerous for children that are younger children, particularly those who have very young siblings at home and things like that.
Right. Whooping cough is one of those. For children under 6 months of age, they're typically not fully immunized, even though they have started receiving vaccines, and it can be very dangerous.
Sure.
So, yeah, having older siblings immunized at home will certainly help improve a younger sibling's health.
And speaking of whooping coughing, that has been in the news here in the Miami Valley of late. We have had some schools, including our own, who have had a couple cases. And I know that there are some medical professionals who encourage adults to now go back and get immunized against whooping cough because you are, particularly those who have babies at home or
Right.
are around, say, family members who are very, very young, that's important to get that done.
Right. Or immunocompromised, somebody who doesn't have a typical immune system, somebody who's already sick with other things, absolutely.
And we just kind of communicated another recent change. I think most of our parents are getting used to this change, but that is the TDAP.
Correct.
And you can tell our viewers what that means because I just know it as an acronym. So
Yes. TDAP stands for tetanus, diphtheria, and acellular pertussis. It is a similar vaccine that children received in childhood. It's just a different formulation because of the age group. And the Ohio Department of Health does require in the older students, grades 7 through 10, that students have an updated dose of that prior to 7th grade entry.
okay. And what is it? Because I remember this has been a couple years now that kind of was updated and that requirement came into play. What is it that prompts the Ohio Department of Health to make those kind of changes? What happens out there that they say, up there in Columbus, we're recommending schools now that you
Right.
require students to have this updated vaccine? What is it that takes place?
I believe they were seeing an increase of whooping cough cases,
Okay.
breakthrough cases, and they took a look at the data and felt that the immunity from the younger shots, the baby shots, was waning, and so that they did need to give a booster to protect those students through those grade levels,
Okay.
the upper grade levels.
And a very, very recent change is now surrounding meningitis.
Right.
And I imagine that the reason this change has taken place is for the same reason that there have been renewed cases and increases in meningitis across the state amongst students of a certain age level.
Yes, well, absolutely. And meningitis, while rare, has very dire consequences. A significant number, up to 20%, experience lifelong consequences, and a good number of those also can die from meningitis. So while it is a rare disease, when it does occur, when somebody does contract meningitis, the consequences are much more severe. And that was part of the reason that they decided to start requiring that. Certainly for students to be immunized, particularly once you're in high school, of course you're in a compact situation, you're very close together, but also in college when you're living in a dormitory, that was another concern as far as immunizing.
Okay. And the change there, typically we would have, I believe, a student would get that in the 12th grade.
Yes.
Now they're going to change that and actually almost kind of double how you immunize kids for that.
Correct.
Let's talk a little
yes.
about that.
Prior to 7th grade entry for 2016-2017 school year and prior to 12th grade entry, students do need to have their meningococcal Prior to 12th grade, they do need 2, unless that student is 16 years or older when they receive their first vaccine, or the student is 15 or younger when they're entering 12th grade.
I'm sitting here trying to figure this out in my brain, and
Well,
then
that
I'm going to
means if
say
you
that,
have
what, your doctor or your medical professional will be able to help you walk through this
Absolutely,
and know.
absolutely,
Certainly when
yes.
you go to your family
Yes.
physician and you say, my child is X age, they're going to be able to tell you what you
Correct.
need, what you need to walk through, and you just need to be sure you're doing your regular checkups with your kids so you know what's going on.
That's right, that's
Okay.
right.
And I know, obviously, your family physician is a resource for parents when
Yes.
they're getting their children immunized. What are some other options? Let's say we have a parent who maybe doesn't have a dedicated family physician. Obviously, that's the preferred way to go, because that is
They know
a
your
record and they know
history.
your history. But if
Correct.
that's not something that a parent has, what are other options?
Minute clinics, little clinics are also available. The Dayton Montgomery County Public Health Department is available. I mean, I can give you their number.
Why don't you throw that information out just so they have that?
Okay, it is 937-225-4550. You need to call and schedule an appointment.
Okay. And again, all of this information is on our website. I believe it's under forms and links, where we have our immunizations
Correct.
listed.
Yes.
And we'll be sure that information with the phone number for the public health is there as well, because I do
Absolutely.
believe you have to make an appointment.
You do have to make an appointment.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
And all of our certified school nurses here in Kettering City Schools can answer any of your questions if any of those parents want to call the schools and speak to their school nurse.
Absolutely. They're as knowledgeable as you're going to get. So.
That's correct.
Absolutely. All righty. Well, thanks so much, Bettina, for that great information. If you have any questions about anything we talked about, you can always call me at 499-1458 or email me at Carrie, that's Kari.Basson, BASSON, at ketteringschools.org. What I'll do is I'll put you in touch probably with one of our school nurses, depending on which school your child is in, because as I said, they're the ones that really know what's going on. So.
Yeah.
Thanks very much. And I'm going to switch gears really quickly and give you a little bit of information about an exciting concert we have coming up. On March 31st at 7 p.m., the Hunter Tones are going to be coming to Fairmont High School. What is absolutely really exciting about this is that Fairmont music alum Chris Ott is a member of Hunter Tones, and this is a really eclectic group of jazz, rock musicians that bring a lot of musicality to the stage, and it's going to be a very exciting concert. That concert is only $5. It's an opportunity to see what is really a world-renowned group who performs at jazz festivals all over the country, all over the world, and also is a member of the Cultural Educational Society for the United States, and actually promotes music amongst students and does that across the country. So we're very proud to welcome Chris Ott and the Hunter Tones back to Fairmont High School on March 31st. That's a 7 o'clock concert, and you can get more information at ketteringmusic.org, or you can also call the box office, 499-2647, and tickets will also be available at the door. So we hope to see lots of you here at Fairmont High School on March 31st when we welcome the Hunter Tones and Chris Ott. So thank you again, Bettina.
Oh, you're
Always
welcome.
great to have you here. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you next Thursday on This Week in Kettering.